Investigative Committee to probe all locally recruited staff. IOCO has been formally notified to pursue Mr. Fred Kwarteng to trace the proceeds of crime and to have him brought to Ghana for prosecution. A complete overhaul of the IT department and digital platforms. The streamlining of the Client Services Center to enhance transparency. Implementation of a secure and trackable mailing system. Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased to report that significant progress has been made between 27th May and 13th June 2025. A total of 4,472 visas were processed and issued. 3,005 visa backlog cases from April and May 2025 have now been fully processed. To manage the high volume of applications, the mission's working hours have been extended from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., with some officers working beyond 10 p.m. Mr. Speaker, I must commend the dedication and commitment of our diplomats in rising to this challenge. Mr. Speaker, the mission's IT infrastructure has been fully reconfigured. A live chat system has been introduced and official email accounts have been updated to promote professionalism and responsiveness. In addition, 3 new phone lines have been added to reduce call congestion. 2,277 real-time online chats and 543 email inquiries were handled within a 2-week period. To further improve performance, the mission is also rolling out a mandatory training program focused on professional client service and work ethics. Pursuant to these directives, the Internal Investigative Committee has to date interviewed 25 locally recruited staff. A few individuals have since tendered their resignations. The remaining staff are scheduled to be interviewed within the week. A comprehensive report, including findings and recommendations, will be submitted upon the conclusion of the inquiry. Mr. Speaker, while the visa and passport issuance process has significantly improved, the primary challenge remains mailing delays, largely due to logistical failures by the United States Postal Service. Approximately 490 duly issued visa packages mailed on 6th and 9th June 2025 were not properly scanned, leading to concerns among applicants. In response, we have directly engaged USPS to mitigate future disruptions. Measures implemented include staggering mail dispatches to a maximum of 200 packages per day to enhance tracking and delivery efficiency. Mr. Speaker, may I stress that contrary to propaganda out there, no new recruitment has been carried out at our Washington, D.C. mission. All the replacements are distinguished years of senior foreign service officers of many years of impeccable experience and integrity. Our decisive reset intervention, by not looking on, as happened in the past, has sent a very clear message that the Mahama administration will not exploitation of clients of our missions abroad. Government's actions have projected a great and positive image of our beloved country. In concluding, Right Honourable Speaker, despite the serious nature of the infractions that led to the temporary closure of the mission, I am pleased to report that the Washington, D.C. mission has been fully reopened. Operations are stabilizing, and confidence in Ghana's diplomatic representation in the United States is being steadily restored. Mr. Speaker, ensuring that justice is served in cases of corruption, conflict of interest, and abuse of office, upholding the highest standards of integrity and service delivery across all our missions abroad. Mr. Speaker, I will continue to keep this House informed as both the investigations and reform processes progress. I thank you very much for the opportunity.
A comment each from each side. Honorable members, just go through the order paper. Take the order paper and just go through. So many questions, and some of the questions is even directed to the minister in connection of this particular issue. So just bear with me. I'll take just one comment from each side. And I don't know if even leadership will see sense with me, I will ignore leadership as well. I'm taking 1-1. If even you compromise with me, I will even skip leadership. Yes, Honorable Ranking. So I'll take the ranking. Chairman, are you also talking to leadership? But please bear in mind, now I have to be straight on the orders. Please, 93.5 minutes, and the comment shall not provoke debate. I'm going to strictly adhere to that. I'm doing this because of so many business that we have to conduct. So, Honorable Samuel Bujenapo. Yes, leader.
Mr. Speaker, I do agree with you that we need to manage our time very well. But this is a matter that engaged significant national attention. And I recall the minority leader that very day urgently requested for an opportunity to make a statement and demanded that the Foreign Affairs Minister should be here to answer questions. A press conference was organized on the matter. And when we rescheduled the Foreign Affairs Minister, he, based on a thorough investigation of the situation, there is significant interest. And so, Mr. Speaker, I think we should allow about 3-3.
Honorable Leader.
3-3.
Honorable Leader, respectfully, I'll go with my ruling. Just a question was filed by Samuel Bujenapo. The question is soliciting almost the same information. You take the 2B, it's almost the same line. So I think all the information that we need, so I want to just stick to what I've just, please bear with me. Yes, Honorable Ranking Member.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, let me begin by thanking the Honorable Minister for this very elaborate ministerial to have a look at the report. Mr. Speaker, let me against or oppose, and indeed, Mr. Speaker, we encourage the Minister to ensure that wherever there is rot or wherever there is corruption, he should investigate, root it out, and bring the perpetrator involved in a corrupt act. That cannot be the burden of this side of the House, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I make this point today. In this government, you may have public servants, civil servants, officials in parts of the book. So we want to assure the Minister and assure the Ministry of Foreign Affairs that the Committee on Foreign Affairs, the minority caucus on this committee, fully support his effort. In any event, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Fred Kwarteng was recruited into the Washington mission as far back as 2013, during the time of President Mahama. Mr. Speaker, the contract for which the minister is very unhappy about, Mr. Speaker, the first time Mr. Kwarteng was given, I can furnish the minister with evidence to support the assertions I'm making. Mr. Speaker, the basis for the investigations or the basis of this alleged corruption, and I use the word alleged with great emphasis. Mr. Speaker, what is the basis of it? The basis of it is, to simplify it, is that the mission in Washington is supposed to have gotten into a certain arrangement with Mr. Kwarteng's company because, according to the mission, there was some bureaucratic initiative and effort like that here in Ghana, where it's employing courier services for the transmission of passports to applicants. So that is the basis for this. There is an Indian company, since Mr. Kwarteng's company is supposed to have been rendering to the Washington mission, which has become the basis for this allegation of corruption. That company is still rendering the same service today. So therefore, Mr. Speaker, what is the point? The point I seek to make is that the foundation or the basis on which Mr. Kwarteng's company was contracted, Mr. Speaker, in and by itself is not wrong. There is a company, an Indian company, rendering the same service today. Mr. Kwatin's company was given a contract to render that same service on a temporary basis in 2015. Honorable Minister Okudzeto Ablakwa is making strenuous efforts in a welcome manner, commendably, to render the same service to Ghanaians here in Ghana. Mr. Speaker, thirdly, the quantum of money, the funds that are supposed to have been accrued to Mr. Kwatin's company, assuming without admitting, Mr. Speaker, let me also put on record, those are not public funds. Those are funds which are supposed to have been paid to Mr. Kwatin's company on the basis of this Washington mission's contract with him. And so let us be clear, the $1.8 million and the $4 million the minister alluded to, Mr. Speaker, are not funds out of public exchequer. These are amounts that the minister has put to Mr. Speaker. So the difficulty the minority have had is the question whether or not they are you. Let me refer you to the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations, 1970. It's very important. As the majority there rightly said, this is a matter which has generated a lot of domestic and international interest. And I'm the ranking with the greatest respect. Mr. Speaker, if I may refer you to the Vienna Convention set out copiously the steps that a country ought to take or to adhere to in closing down emissions. The first step, Mr. Speaker, step one, government decision must be at the highest level. There must be a notification to the host country. There must be coordination with the host country. Before the announcement and the reassignment of foreign service officers, Mr. Speaker,
thank you.
These steps have to be adhered to. And the point we made here, and if I may conclude on that,
your point is
made. That, Mr. Speaker, is that the procedure which was adopted, the procedure which was adopted to close down the Washington mission was one which is alien to public international law and is not consistent with the Vienna Convention.
Thank you.
And in 48 hours, the minister opened the mission, and that tells us that the decision was a rushed one. We welcome the probe. We don't have a difficulty with the probe, but we will always insist that we should adhere to procedural propriety in terms of how we manage our foreign relations and foreign policy and the missions of our country. That is the position of this minority. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. Honorable members, you see, I decided not to pick. You see, these interjections will always waste a lot of time. I beg of you, please.
Records. The minister in briefing this house stated clearly that the gentleman was employed according to the records of the ministry in 2017. He, on the other hand, is telling this house that the gentleman was employed in 2013 without any evidence. Mr. Speaker, this is a house of records, and for us to make progress, it is important that these records are, yes, these records are certain. It's as simple as that. He should lay it. He should just table it so that at least we can verify. It adds to the records of this house.
Honorable Habib, very well. Let me listen to. Let me listen to Honorable Chairman for Foreign Affairs Committee.
Mr. Speaker, having heard the report as presented by the Minister for Foreign Affairs, leading to the closure of the Washington mission, one has no doubt but to conclude that the minister did the right thing. The minister saw a route, rose to the occasion, took the necessary steps, and corrected the situation. Mr. Speaker, the country voted to reset this country.
That's
And when the people spoke, they spoke and gave the mandate to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and his appointees to correct corrupt practices, whether in this country or abroad. And that is what the minister has done. The minister's report cannot be this practice. And if our children heard this report and we stand to defend it, please, please.
Why?
If we say we support the minister, then let's support him all the way. We cannot say we support the minister, turn around and question what the individual did. Please, that is not right. Ghanaians have voted to reset, and the minister is resetting the ministry. The committee supports him in the action to reset. Yes. So let us work together, because that is the mandate that Ghanaians have given us. I stand to encourage the minister that we should go all out. That is the mandate that's been given to us. We will work with the ministry to ensure that Ghana see better days in the future. With these few words, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Let me now revert to the leadership. Yes, Honorable Deputy.
Mr. Speaker, with your leave, I yield to the Member of Parliament for Busimi Frehon, Asafo-Adjei.
Yeah, we went together. Honorable Asafo-Adjei, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Speaker himself to brief the House and give us some information, emphasize and make the point once again for emphasis that this side of the House, the minority on the committee, is not and will never be against the minister's quest to probe or to ensure that the right thing is done. Mr. Speaker, but diplomacy, Mr. Speaker, is tactfulness. Mr. Speaker, diplomacy is backdoor talks. Diplomacy is consultation. Diplomacy is, Mr. Speaker, diplomacy is the key you're covertly putting out there. Mr. Speaker, I have the minister's letter, which designates a team of people who are supposed to take over at the Washington Embassy. Mr. Speaker, Ambassador Mrs. Jane Gasu Aheto, head of the mission. Mr. Bernard Kwetsin, head of consular. Mrs. Bernice A. Hodegbeke, minister. Mrs. Emanuela Kakari Ajman. Mr. Speaker, between 2011 and 2013, of one of the members here engaging in key issues that are fraudulent and corrupt. Mr. Speaker, she was called back from the New York mission. Mr. Speaker, emphasis, Madam Jane Gasu Aheto. Mr. Speaker, she was at the New York Embassy. Mr. Speaker, she was involved in corruption and she was called back to Ghana. And out of settlement and arrangement, she was made to repay the monies that was involved in this issue. So for the minister to tell us that embassy is now, the ministry is now taking, with all the descriptions and nomenclatures, professional, exceptional ambassadors or Ghanaian incorruptible to the Washington ministry, we beg to differ. This matter, if I've not mentioned it here, was under, the country didn't even know about it. That is how diplomacy is still treated. Yeah. It doesn't mean that we should not apprehend or we should not deal with people who are involved in this issue. Mr. Speaker, the next thing to say, as it stands now, for the past 2 weeks that the ministry announced that the embassy will be reopened. Mr. Speaker, the embassy was reopened but was not functional. Mr. Speaker, there was no delegation from Ghana that got to Washington. Rather, the minister assigned some members from New York to go and take charge in the Washington embassy. And the devastation, the challenges, the issue, the hardship going through to get visa and passports. Mr. Speaker, let it be on record.
Thank you.
That the decision to close the embassy has caused Ghana more harm than good. And we are becoming a joke in the eyes of the public.
Thank you so much.
Speaker, we must put that on record.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Majority Leader. Honorable members, please, honorable. Yes, leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I think this House should thank the Minister for Foreign Affairs for coming to This House should thank the Minister for Foreign Affairs for coming to fully disclose to us exactly what happened in our Washington mission. So, Speaker, infractions decide on the fees and charges that any institution can levy on any person for a service rendered by the Republic of Ghana. This is the only house. And to the extent that this house did Ghana, that is a clear infraction of the laws of Ghana. No matter how valuable the service, no matter how good intention it may have been, clearly there has been a violation of the laws of Ghana. And if for nothing, this house should be interested in that. That how did it happen that civil servants on their own, without parliamentary approval, sat down and created a business whereby services were rendered for the acquisition of Ghanaian visas and payments were made without the approval of this parliament? No matter what it is, there is a clear infraction of the law that this House should be interested in. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, we may dispute when Mr. Kwarteng assumed office at the embassy. But there's no dispute that he was the IT officer when he assumed office. Whichever date, but he assumed office as the IT officer of the embassy. I'm just giving you the benefit of the doubt. I'm just giving you the benefit of the doubt. That as the IT officer, that he and it is said a spouse own a company that were providing IT services to the same organization. Mr. Speaker, even if there is a similar contract in the UK for the acquisition of Ghanaian visas by an Indian office to now set up a private company to render IT services, and the fees goes to him, no matter how good intentioned, that is a clear case of conflict of interest. Another clear instance of infraction of our laws. Mr. Speaker, I think this House is the defender of the interest of the ordinary people who approach government for services. And I must commend the minister for the effort that he took or made to stop this. In this house, on my way home, a friend called me and told me that the figure we are even quoting is below what they were actually paid. And what he told me, and he's ready to testify, what he told me was that it was deliberately made in such a way that you could not on your own apply online for a visa. Deliberately. So even though you could apply online, it became impossible for anyone to apply online, so that you will go and then seek the services of the company. And this is where conflict of interest comes in. So if the person in charge of our IT system at our mission has a business of providing that service, why won't it be easy to make it impossible for people who can ordinarily apply online to apply, so that you will seek the services of his company? That is what conflict of interest is all about. So, Mr. Speaker, such a matter cannot come before this House and we will attempt to belittle it. We cannot attempt to belittle it. This is a very serious matter, happening not here in Ghana, but in Washington. Our institutions had degenerated to a point where we were exporting such practices abroad. We had done it to have unending investigations. National Service Secretariat, everywhere you turn. And we're not satisfied doing it domestically. We now decided that it is a commodity worth exporting to foreign countries. And we're exporting to foreign countries.
Honorable Leader, your term is almost up.
Mr. Speaker, I think that Yoko must investigate the matter. We expect the report of Yoko's investigation expedited and presented to this House by the Minister of the Flag and Coat of Arms of Ghana abroad in the United States. Mr. Speaker, I heard somebody talk about hardship. Can you calculate the hardship of all those who had to go through this grueling treatment and had to cough out their money? And you're talking about hardship. Whose hardship are we talking about here? Mr. Speaker, I thank you very much.
Thank you. Honor leadership, let me seek your pressure. We have committed ourselves to take certain statements. Can we continue? Come again. Can we continue with the statement, then before then we come to questions? Debbie, no. So we will take the statement. I'm pleading with you, because, yes, I'll take the statement, then I come to questions. Ministers, the appreciation and Ghana's agriculture opportunity by the minority leader, Osahene Alexander Kwame Nafanyamakin, and Honorable Elvis Oseme Sadapa. Joint statement. Yes, Honorable, you have the floor. Then afterwards, I come to the First Deputy Speaker statement.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity to make this statement on the recent appreciation of the Ghanaian cedi and the opportunities it presents for Ghana's agricultural transformation. While the cedi sharp recovery signal a welcome macroeconomic shift, it offers a unique window for structural investment in agriculture to address persistent food inflation. Mr. Speaker, Ghana's public investment in agriculture has been persistently low, and alarmingly, it has dropped 0.5 billion Ghana cedi was allocated to agriculture sector in 2025, a mere 0.5% of the total Ghana 290 billion budget. This is down from roughly 1.9% of the budget in the 2023 and 2024. which were already below the African Union 10% Maputo-Malabo commitment. Mr. Speaker, per the Bank of Ghana's rates, the Ghanaian cedi has surged in 2025 from Ghana 14.7 in the early part of the year to the Ghana 11 cedi in May against the US dollar. The cause of the recovery follows a mix of both global and domestic factors: weakening US dollar on the world market, rising gold reserve at the Bank of Ghana, a result of the previous government initiative, and perhaps some yet to be seen fiscal and monetary policies. Food inflation in the country continues to remain high. Although inflation reduced to 18.4 in May, food inflation is still hovering about 22%. Such appreciation presents an opportunity for agriculture, which underpins economic stability and food security amidst high food inflation. Mr. Speaker, a stronger cedi can make imported agro inputs such as fertilizers, seeds, agrochemicals, and machinery more affordable. As Ghana imports the bulk of its agricultural inputs, for example, in 2024, Ghana imported 38.6 billion cedi worth of machinery and electrical equipment, representing 15.4% of total imports. Also, bulldozers and herbicides, anti-sprouting products, and plant growth regulators made the top 10 products that were imported in 2024, representing about 3.5% of imports. Mr. Speaker, in the poultry value chain, one of the most persistent challenges in the cost of day-old chicks, most of which are imported due to weak local hatchery capacity. A stronger cedi makes these imports cheaper, potentially lowering production costs of local poultry farmers. Imported feed ingredients such as soybean meal, maize additives, and premises are also sensitive to exchange rate movement. If the cedi holds, domestic poultry producers may become more competitive, but also border protection and market linkages must be managed to prevent dumping of cheap frozen imports that undermine local input. Mr. Speaker, the Ghana imports substantial quantities of rice, wheat, sugar, cooking oils, and flour, increasing disposable income for households and potentially slowing food inflation. However, cheaper imports can also undercut local producers. For example, local rice poultry value chains have long struggled to compete with the imported alternatives due to scale and cost disadvantages. There must be a right balance. Consumers want relief, but producers need protection. Mr. Speaker, the impact of seed mechanism, inflation and debt servicing influence utility prices. If the recent drop in the inflation and exchange rate pressures is sustained, and if debt servicing costs are not rigidly passed on, utility tariff could ease or stabilize it in the next quarter. Cheaper power could improve margins, support production schedules, and attract more investment into agro-industry. Mr. Speaker, while the cedi appreciation offers relief for input-dependent producers, it poses real risk for exporters, especially in agriculture. Over 70% of Ghana's non-traditional exports are agricultural products. The danger is that this appreciation, if not matched by a decline in the cost of doing business from port charges to transport financing, exports could lose market. Whilst the cedi appreciation offers a short-term cost advantage, the more impactful way to tackle food inflation is by boosting domestic productivity through strategic investment. Mr. Speaker, Ghana's agricultural sector is structurally weak due to its heavy dependence of imported food and input. In 2024, over half of Ghana's food supply was imported, amounting to around 2 billion USD, exposing the country external shocks and undermining domestic productivity. There is a need to create a room to expand support for local fertilizers blending plants, invest in seed research and certify domestic seed systems, and enhances long-term affordability and builds resilience against future exchange rate shocks. Post-harvest losses in Ghana are persistently harassing and could change capacity. Scaling agro-processing is crucial to absorb seasonal yield, stabilize prices, and create rural jobs. Investment priorities should include industrial agro-processing.
Honorable members, please, let's give him a hearing. Please, I beg of you. So, Honorable, continue.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Many farmers lack adding feeder system will help reduce shortens market cycle and enhances national food distribution. Mr. Speaker, only 2% of Ghana's arable land is irrigated, making crop production vulnerable to climate variability. With food inflation, a recurring concern, year-round production is critical. The city could be used to support expansion of smallholders irrigation scheme and rehabilitation of things directly to increase crop intensity in crops. Law mechanism is a binding and constraint across much of Ghana's agriculture. Most smallholders rely on operations like planting and harvesting. A stronger city makes it more affordable to import machinery, spare parts, and assembly kits. Strategic investment could include scaling mechanization service, centers with public-private partnerships, supporting assembly and repair workshops to reduce foreign dependence. Agriculture contributes over 21% of GDP, but its access to finance remains disproportionately low. Data from Ghana's Investment Promotion Center shows that FDI into agriculture average less than 2% of total inflows between 2018 and 2024. For instance, only 1.5 million USD was recorded for the 3 projects in 2024. 6 million USD. This pattern is not limiting the foreign investment of the total bank lending in recent years. These figures point to the persistent and widening agriculture financing gap. The issue is not simply one of low funding, but also of high barriers to accessing what little credit is available. The recent 5th anniversary report of GESA reaffirms what many actors in sector already experience, that despite effort there, the risk agricultural lending, systematic challenges remain due to perceived high risk. Loans to actors in the agricultural value chain are often priced higher than in other sectors, while many smallholders, farmers, and agribusiness lack the traditional collateral demands by the financial institution. Though the sector remains high impact, there is a large financing gap. Without targeted credit schemes, blended potential with macro trends. To conclude, Mr. Speaker, I want to reiterate the fact that although the city has appreciated recently, this research has been driven by a combination of global and domestic factors. Yes. It offers a unique window for structural investment in agriculture to address persistent food inflation, reduce input costs, and boost productivity in a sector that remains central in livelihoods and national stability. I thank you once again, Mr. Speaker.
Minister for what is it? No. Yes. Yes, leader.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, we have a very loaded agenda.
Honourable members, please.
We have a very loaded agenda today, except that we want to commend the first timer for his courage, him here, and for several years. They still cannot find their voice on the floor of this House. And so I think that we commend him for the effort and encourage all other, first-timers to put up such statements and be encouraged to make those statements. Mr. Speaker, I think on that note, if we can vary the order of business and allow the Minister for Roads to answer his question before we take the Foreign Minister, because he has had the opportunity to make a statement.
So it means we are closing statements, because I had wanted to also take the First Deputy Speaker's statement. You come back.
Add to the superfluity of what has already been put out, that even if it will be superfluous, I need to add my voice. Mr. Speaker, he is right.
Okay, Honourable Leader.
Speaker, I'm just 1 minute. I'm just to support and encourage our youngsters. Mr. Speaker, please bear with me.
Okay.
Mr. Speaker, he is right that speaking on the floor of this House is a major challenge. I have shared with colleagues my own experience in the early days. Mr. Speaker, you want to rise, but your whole body will be shaking. I recall the source of my name being spelled Markins. I was sitting at the back there. Mr. Speaker, to get up and say, it took these same parliamentary service staff and some seniors to encourage me to have my first bite. And by the grace of God, we are where we are. Mr. Speaker, I am therefore encouraging our first-timers. It doesn't matter how many times you make a mistake. It doesn't matter how many times you make a mistake. Get out of your shells. And also avail yourselves to be trained and mentored. If you are a first-timer and you see yourself as a master, you won't learn. So make yourselves available, get closer to your seniors and learn. Today, Honorable Dapa has made history. Nobody can take the history. Witness can take it away from him. And I know, don't worry, Suhini, you and I know, it's not easy. We should commend him. No, don't let us go with that approach. Let's encourage him. Mr. Speaker,
Today his constituents, leader, permit me, today his constituents have seen that he is young in face, he is strong in bones. Mr. Speaker, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. And I want to encourage all from the other side to also come up with, oh, I know you also have the men. Yeah, I know. But let us see your men. Let us see your men. Mr. Speaker, on that score, I want to thank you and commend my colleague whose long-awaited statement has finally been admitted and he has delivered it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, let's turn to page 3. Page 3. So in line with what the minority leader just said, next week we will revisit the backbenchers week, which is Wednesday, so that we give the backbenchers the opportunity to also do business in the House. So, page 3.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, I know that the minister is here to attend upon the House. He's been here since 2 o'clock, Mr. Speaker. He must stay in his ministry. Mr. Speaker, he must spend time to do his ministerial work. You go and pay your contractors. Chase your releases at the finance ministry. Don't be coming here to sit here. Yes, we want you to answer our questions, but fix the roads. Fix the roads. You have not received your releases.
Thank you.
Since we approved the budget, your money has not come. And you come here, go and chase it.
Leader.
You are running away from contractors.
Honorable Minority Leader.
You can't use Parliament to run away from contractors. Mr. Speaker, he can't use Parliament to run away from contractors.
Honorable
Go and pay them. Go and pay them.
Speaker, the Speaker, the
119. 119.
Mr. Speaker, the honorable member has informed me that since filing the question, he's had opportunity to engage, and so he intends to withdraw, but inadvertently it's been captured on the order paper. So, I have his authority. He acts. They were similar. So if you recall, the other one got advertised.
Very well. So Vincent Ekwa Asafua Oltafo. Question 139. Question 139. Hereby withdrawn. So table, take note of that. Yes. Honorable Vincent Ekwa Asafua. Question 139.
139. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I come under Order 88.3, and I rise to ask the Minister for roads and highways, details of the current state of the Sino Hydro project in Old Tafo constituency, the steps being taken to ensure its completion, and when it is expected to be completed. Thank you.
Respectful Honorable Minister, may take the podium.
Thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, let me put on record, I start work at 7 a.m. daily. So by the time I get here, I've done 7 hours at the ministry before coming here. And Mr. Speaker, opportunity. Old Tafo is located within Ashanti region. The rehabilitation of roads within Old Tafo and other areas was being executed under the committee signed in this house, approved in this house in 20 structure project in Ghana. Mr. Speaker, current program. The Department of Urban Road awarded the contract titled Construction Rehabilitation of Selected Roads and Interchanges in Ghana, Phase 1, Lot 2, Kumasi Inner City Road, for the rehabilitation of selected roads in beneficiary metropolis and municipalities, including Kumasi Metro, Mampong, Asokwa, on the 21st of December 2021 for completion by 2nd June 2024. A total of 5.7 kilometers of road were earmarked for rehabilitation at Old Tafo. 4.3 kilometers of road have drains completed. 1.4 kilometers of roads have outstanding drainage works. 5.7 kilometers of roads have outstanding pavement works outstanding. Physical completion of the work is currently 17%. The contractor is currently not on site. The project stalled due to debt restructuring policies. Steps being taken to get the project resumed. The Ministry for resumption of the fund.
Honorable Asafoje, do you have any supplementary question?
Timeline. So, what the people of Old Tafo should be looking out for?
Minister.
Years ago, those of us who were here, the original agreement said to repay them. Unfortunately, because we are unable to mine bauxite, sell, and use the proceeds to repay, the government of the day came back and converted them. The government failed again in paying the loan. Mr. Speaker, the new government is just 6 months in office. We are working hard to find the necessary steps to make sure that the Sino Hydro related projects are completed. And indeed, some of them is in the process of engaging their counterparts in China to be able to get the issue resolved for the rest of the funds to be made available to complete the project. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. On behalf of the House, let me thank you for attending upon the House. We are grateful to you and you are hereby discharged. A statement.
Others will take the statement of the first Deputy Speaker.
Very well. I thought the Minister for Gender is itching to answer the question. Yes, first Deputy.
Speaker, for the opportunity to make this statement on a matter in evidence-based law and policy making. Mr. Speaker, official statistics are not just numbers. They are a vital component of the information system of any democratic society. They empower governments to make informed decisions, support policy formulation, guide effective resources allocation, and enable, Mr. Speaker, assist Parliament in making laws, exercising oversight responsibility, and fulfilling its representative functions. On fertility rates, age structures, and population distribution are essential for determining whether to build schools, hospitals, and roads. Similarly, accurate achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, and for assessing the impact of national programs such as Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty, LEAP, initiatives. Furthermore, statistics serves as a powerful tool for accountability. Parliament relies on timely, credible, and comprehensive data to enact legislations, scrutinize policies, review budgets, and oversee the work of the executive arm of government. Mr. Speaker, statistical systems in many developing countries, including Ghana, are often trapped in a persistent cycle of underutilization. In addition, for Ghana Statistical Service, the Central Statistical and Coordinating Institution of the National Statistical System comes from donors. This clearly reflects the limited values we as a country place on our national statistical system. The administrative data infrastructure in the country remains undeveloped, with the coordination and information sharing among institutions within the national statistical system still inadequate. Mr. Speaker, despite commendable efforts by the Ghana Statistical Service, GSS, to foster data integration, administrative data and statistics within the MDAs remains inaccessible to the Ghana Statistical Service. This reality compromises the oversight capacity of this House, as administrative data, critical for monitoring government programs, is either lacking or inaccessible. Mr. Speaker, this fragmentation leads to inefficiencies in service delivery, duplicated efforts, and citizens' frustration. Individuals may be registered differently and eligibility checks. The resulting data inconsistencies increase the risk of fraud. Mr. Speaker, without unified system, national statistics are weakened, data scrutiny is compromised, and the potential for digital transformation and innovation is significant. There is an urgent need to invest in Ghana's data system. Every dollar investment in statistics can yield up to $32 in economic returns through better policy outcomes, improved governance, and smarter program implementation. High-level parliamentary delegation from Ghana, at the invitation of the UK's Office for National Statistics, ONS, from the 19th to the 23rd of May 2025. This study visit is part of a broader three-phase initiative that includes pre-engagement, post-visit implementation efforts. The goal is clear. Mr. Speaker, the delegates and senior officials, including, we engage with leading institutions, including the UK Parliament, Cabinet offices, His Majesty's Treasury, the Bank of England, and the Office of the National Statistical in Newport and London. We observed how robust statistical system support sound governance, fiscal policy, and service delivery. They are a foundational to good governance. Mr. Speaker, based on our observation and both Parliament and the King and governance, these recommendations are aimed at strengthening Parliament's roles in fostering a data policy making. Mr. Speaker, first, it is imperative that Parliament strengthen its partnership with the Ghana Statistical Service that have been developed. Doing so will ensure that Parliament has timely, secure, and reliable access to relevant data necessary for legislative policy making. Secondly, we must enhance the parliamentary service staff and continuous training central to improving the quality of debate on the floor of the House, enhancing our oversight responsibilities and making policies that are grounded in facts. Mr. Speaker, to these efforts, we propose that Parliament enacts legislation on public sector data sharing models after the United Kingdom's Digital Economy Act of 2017. Such a legislative framework would empower the Ghana Statistical Service to assess and utilize administrative data across various sectors for statistical purposes. This, in turn, would improve the quality, coherence, and time that Parliament works with the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission to embed data literacy as a graduation requirement in our educational system. In addition, collaboration with the Ghana Civil Service and Public Services Commission is indeed to make data literacy prerequisite for promotion within the public services. This will foster a culture of data use and evidence-informed decision-making through the public sector. Mr. Speaker, for the Ghana Statistical Service, we propose several complementary reforms. The first is to amend the Ghana Statistical Service Act 2019 into an independent statistical authority with a stronger legal mandate to set national statistical standards, provide oversight, and lead the recruitment and training of statisticians across government institutions. Mr. Speaker, we urge the establishment of a dedicated parliamentary unit within the Ghana Statistical Service. This unit should be staffed with a permanent liaison officer assigned to Parliament to directly support our data needs, trending, and analysis. We propose that members of Parliament benefit from regular platforms such as the Ghana Statistical Stat Bank to build our capacity to interpret data, evaluate policies, and make evidence-based legislative decisions. We also encourage members to undertake the International Data Master Classes, an online course designed to enhance their data literacy skills. Mr. Speaker, this engagement was far more than a steady talk. It was strategic investment in Ghana's. We return with renewed commitment and practical recommendations that, if embraced, can transform the way we use data in policy making and national development. I therefore call on this Honorable House to support the implementation of these recommendations. Let us commit ourselves to building a parliament that is data-informed, a public service that is data literate, and governance system that is truly evidence-driven. Let us make data work for Ghana. I thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, I'm not going to also allow comments on them. Bear with me. Look, just look at the other papers. So many questions, and the questions are our own questions. So please bear with me that I'm not allowing any. We still even have other statements to take. So let's turn to page urgent questions. Urgent questions. And the first question stands in the name of Honorable Samuel Bujinapo, member for Damango. Yes, leader. Yes, leader.
So, Speaker, the first Deputy Speaker has made a very, very fundamental statement. After he traveled to the UK and Ireland, accompanied by the minority leader and the majority leader, for fundamental, far-reaching statements. And there's no commentary. Speaker, I think that we should at least, if Speaker is minded to be magnanimous, he can make it 2-2. But at least one from each side. Because his statement has been so inspiring that the former leader is very excited and wants to make a statement, a comment. So, Mr. Speaker.
Well, honorable members, my boss has made a statement and I'm ignoring comment. So I'll allow two from each side. But 5 minutes, nobody is going beyond 5 minutes. So, Honorable.
Mr. Speaker, we have Dr. Kabiru and Professor Kingsley Nyako.
No problem.
I'm just giving you the names.
Yes.
So they will.
No problem. And I know the Minister for Education and probably the majority leader. So please, I'm going to be straight on the time. Not more than 5 minutes, please. Yes. 3 minutes. No.
Mr. Speaker.
I've already said. Yes. Honorable. Yeah, leader. Honorable Minister, let me listen to Honorable Tia first.
Thank you very much. Mr. Bernard Ahiamfor, MP for Kachi, for making this statement. He has broached a topic, Akachi Saf. He has broached a topic of great importance. And his statement is a 360 statement, Mr. Speaker. 360 in the sense that it first highlights the importance of data, goes to underscore the problem with data in Africa and Ghana, and then propose certain measures to addressing that. Mr. Speaker, there is a saying that data is gold, or is the new gold. This is not just a statement, it's not just a metaphor. It is actually underscoring the point that data has far overrun new resources in terms of value and influence. And in the digital first global economy, data is of essence. And Mr. Speaker, there's also another saying that statistics are not just mere numbers. Mr. Speaker, statistics is what makes data intelligible. In other words, numbers in their sense will not make any meaning unless they are reflected in statistics. And that is the point that the Deputy Speaker is drawing on. Mr. Speaker, is universal. Every single aspect of the economy, every single discipline rely on data. And without data, certainty and clarity and even reliability, Mr. Speaker, we will not be able to plan. Mr. Speaker, there is one other thing I would like to draw our attention. The maker of the statement drew our attention to the fact that $1 investment in data has a corresponding economic return of $32. This is over 3,000 returns on data investment. Mr. Speaker, gold cannot give us this return. Cocoa cannot give us this return. And in a digital economy, we must prioritize data. And that is the important point we need to highlight. Mr. Speaker, there are best practices we can learn from. That visit is one of the ways we can learn. But I want to draw on the recommendations. And my essence is to highlight the importance of those recommendations. The maker of the statement has actually drawn our attention and made some important recommendations. But the importance of those recommendations were left, maybe for the want of the Parliament of Ghana and the Ghana Statistical Service. Mr. Speaker, the importance of this is that it reduces data sharing, reduces the cost of data production. Mr. Speaker, if we were to have a data unit in Parliament responsible for mining data, sharing this data from relevant institutions will reduce the cost of data production in Parliament. And it's an important point we need to note. Mr. Speaker, the second recommendation was to develop analytical capacity of members of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, statistics will be a mere number in the hands of a member of Parliament if he cannot interpret that statistic or that number. And without the capacity of members of Parliament to interpret statistics, data will not make any meaning to us. So the capacity of members of Parliament to have the analytical capacity to interpret data is important. Mr. Speaker, we need this particular act in order to address the issue of data fragmentation and also to improve the universal utility of data in Ghana. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I want to thank the maker of the statement for this brilliant statement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Yes, Honorable Minister for Education.
Mr. Speaker, I would endeavor to be very brief, is to commend the first Deputy Speaker for his brilliant statement on the role of statistics in evidence-based policy making. And Mr. Speaker, his statement is very timely, even for me as Minister responsible for education. Around the same time in the United Kingdom, Oxford had just published the GEEAP, which was looking at the use of language as an instruction to improve learning of children at the basic level of education. And Mr. Speaker, the finding, which is evidence-based, suggested that if you taught children in their native local language, they were more likely to do better in reading and literacy than not. So I want to commend him, but just to raise two other issues. Mr. Speaker, the first Deputy Speaker is his own authority in law. My disagreement with him politely would be the Statistical Service. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, the Statistical Service is a creation of the 1992 Constitution in Article 185. There shall be a Statistical Service which shall form part of the public services of Ghana. So if you are suggesting that we now elevate it to an authority, unless of course you are suggesting that we should have an enactment to further pursue the provisions of the Constitution, because it's provided for there that there shall even be the Statistical Service Board. Then, Mr. Speaker, in concluding, even this House will have to benefit from First Deputy Speaker's statement. Mr. Speaker, when we are debating in this House whether it's state of the nation or is the budget, all of us on both sides, how much reference do you make to evidence-based debate? How much research or reference do you make to statistics? There can be a debate on the floor of this House, and you will find 2-3 members even contribute to the budget statement with reference to the Statistical Service and its finding, whether on poverty, or macroeconomic performance, or inflation. All you hear is that inflation is high or is low. No evidence, no pointers to statistics. Road infrastructure, there can be a debate here. We need to know which parts of the country are not doing well statistically in terms of their access to quality road. So, Mr. Speaker, I hope that the statement of the First Deputy Speaker will be an awakening even for Parliament. As he said, Parliament must make use of reliable evidence data for policy making. What is policy? Policy must respond to a need. To examine a need, you must evaluate a particular problem that you want policy to respond to. For instance, if you want to legislate on maybe there is growing teenage pregnancy in school, girls who get pregnant in school maybe 12%. You can only respond with legislation if you appreciate the numbers or the statistics concerned. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to commend the maker of the statement and to encourage Parliament and members of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, the Hansard used to be an authoritative source of reference. We have all contributed in debasing the standard of the Hansard with very frivolous references we make here, that a student cannot quote a member of parliament and say, on this day, this is what the honorable member said on this matter, and these are statistics we provided. When you were a student in Lagos, you were told, as a political science student, that the parliamentary Hansard is an authoritative source of reference. Today, it may not be so because we do very little research. We debate not with informed evidence base, even on the performance of the economy or our society. With this, Mr. Speaker, I commend the maker of the statement.
Yes, Honorable Professor Nyako.
Mr. Speaker, I'm grateful for indulging me to add my voice to the statement on the role of statistics in evidence-based policy making delivered by the Honorable Bernard Ahiampho, my very good friend MP for Kati South and the First Deputy Speaker of Parliament. Most important, Mr. Speaker, we must also see this chamber as an academic environment, because what we do here is watched by almost everybody in the world who has the opportunity of following proceedings. So it is a platform for learning. It's a platform for education. For that matter, our comments, our debates, our contributions must be informed by empirical evidence. That is data. And that is what the Honorable First Deputy Speaker is talking about. If we want to inform policy positively, then it means that our comments and views and opinions must be grounded not in our opinions, but in facts. Somebody said that opinions are like noses. Everybody has one. But facts are sacrosanct. Our societies are governed and made better by empirical evidence. Nothing more, nothing less. We can have our opinions, but our opinions, Mr. Speaker, with all due respect, our opinions don't matter. Our opinions don't matter. What matters most is the evidence that we have to shape thinking, to shape thoughts, and the way of life in our quest to advancing with society. Mr. Speaker, our able First Deputy Speaker advised that we should establish dedicated parliamentary unit within the Ghana Statistical Service. Speaker, we must also strengthen our racial department. We must expand its function and make it more functional. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker,
just wind up. Just wind up for me.
Mr. Speaker, I want to urge us all for us to be better parliamentarians. We must be equipped with the skills in research so that we can convince policymakers in order to ensure that our policies are. Mr. Speaker, theories change. Theories change. That is why we need to constantly update our knowledge, our skills, so that we will be in tune with the realities on the ground. Mr. Speaker, because of time constraint and the pressure for next interference, I beg to yield. Thank you.
Is it the Fiamapo?
Okay. Speaker, let me commend the First Deputy for this statement. Speaker, indeed, in East Africa, in fact, in Kenya, in the National Assembly, there's a whole caucus that recently has been formed on evidence-based approach to legislation. The duty of that caucus is to go back and assess the impact of legislation 5 years after it's enacted, to see the kinds of reforms and amendments that they can bring on board. So it's a new movement in a lot of parliaments now, and it's good. Speaker, we are already doing evidence-based policy formulation and implementation. We may not have termed it so, Indeed, this house, when we are approving the common fund formula, it is based on evidence because we use statistics to determine how much should go to South Dine and how much should go to, for instance, Accra Metro. It's based on the statistics that we have. When we approve the NHIS formula, it's based on the statistics that we have. In the same way, when we approve the other formulas that we do, we use statistics. In setting up health infrastructure, building hospitals, we look at how many patients we project that if you build this hospital, it's expected that this number of patients will patronize it over a period. So it's such a formidable thing to adopt. In Congress actually proceeded to adopt 9 ways of drafting federal legislations that are based on evidence. And it's become a guide for the National Congress in drafting their legislation. So it's a new movement, and I'm happy that leadership got the opportunity to participate in this seminar, and I'm happy that they brought a report back. Going forward, as part of the reforms in our legislations, this will be introduced. So laws are not enacted in vacuum. In imposing tax laws, it's based on the numbers, how many people will pay taxes. So you don't just formulate a taxation law for the people. You know that if you do that, the number of people who pay taxes will be great. Speaker, in transportation, if you construct a road, we are able to project that if you road and pay toll, will be such that you'll be able to recoup the money spent on it. Building courthouses, the number of cases that will come before the judges will be able to determine and project that. So, Speaker, I want to thank the maker of the statement once again and pray that leadership essentially will adopt the approach being urged on us in enacting our legislations. With these few words, Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. So we will now comfortably turn to questions, urgent questions. Or we should go on with the statement. You may ask your urgent question now.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask the Honourable Minister for Foreign Affairs the circumstances that led to the closure of the Ghanaian mission in Washington, D.C. in the United States of America. Thank you, Speaker.
Very well, Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Speaker. I thank the ranking member for the question. Since I have delivered a comprehensive statement on the matter, I would ask that Hansard should reference the statement I presented. But I'm open to follow-up questions in the interest of time. I'm grateful, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, on June 9th, exactly 9:13 a.m., on the website of the Washington mission, Mr. Speaker, you have Madame Mauli Dick writing and making this point, and I quote, Mr. Speaker, she says, during this important reset and transition period at the embassy in D.C., some immediate interim measures are necessary to improve the customer service. Mr. Speaker, she goes on to talk about how one Professor Satan Nabani applied for a visa to come to Ghana with a group of intellectuals, but because of the breakdown of service delivery at the mission, they were unable to make the trip. Mr. Speaker, you have another Rastoto who said, for example, I quote her, shame on the Ghana embassy in Washington, D.C., and shame on the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. You disrupt service with no circumscription for it to reflect patrons, and worse service delivery at the Washington mission. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honourable Minister.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. The Honourable Ranking Member's follow-up question is extremely important. The matter of responsiveness, engaging clientele timeously, with respect, acknowledging that they have paid for a service, and making sure that customer satisfaction is guaranteed are principles that we cannot compromise on. And Mr. Speaker, it will interest you to know that the audit team I put together, it was eveness. People will keep calling and nobody is responding to their calls, even though that we spend over 1 billion Ghana cedis maintaining our 71 diplomatic missions abroad. So there can be no excuse that people who are paid to work, to man telephones, to respond to emails, to carry out consular services, to ensure that our embassies are friendly places that project the image of our country. What we have been telling colleagues is that first impressions really matter. We cannot say that we want to market our country, we want to make Ghana the gateway to Africa, we want to boost tourism. And then the first impression that visa applicants get is a certain nonchalant, a certain, very cavalier attitude, which does not project a good image of our country. So, Mr. Speaker, I can confirm that we are taking very urgent and decisive action to resolve this. The Washington, D.C. mission has become too notorious when it comes to lack of responsiveness, poor customer relations, and just outright bad service which does not augur well for the image of our country. Indeed, by the time we had to shut down the embassy, we had discovered that there was a backlog of over 2,300 visa applications that had just been ignored. And a certain culture of disrespect and disregard for applicants had really become entrenched. I can confirm today, Mr. Speaker, that we have put together a new code of conduct and we have sent a circular to all our embassies that we want all our phones to be reconfigured, and they had up to the 15th of July to comply. Some have already complied, like our UK mission, where we want simultaneously multiple calls can come through and be picked by different staff at the same time to deal with this matter of people waiting on end and not being attended to. We have also requested that every week a report should be submitted. We want to know how many people called in and how many of those calls were picked. We have also put in a mechanism where with the service providers, we can directly assess how many calls came through, how those calls were picked, and then most importantly recorded for review by management, so that the reports of discourteousness, disrespect, people being rude, all of this will be subject to review, so that if we discover that a particular foreign service officer has been rude, has been discourteous, has been bad-mannered, then the sanctions will apply, because the foreign service regulations do not condone that kind of attitude. And there are clear sanctions that should be applied for those who engage in that unworthy conduct. So, Mr. Speaker, we are putting in place far-reaching reforms. And we believe that with the support of this House and the hardworking members of the Foreign Affairs Committee supporting us, we can really deal with this matter once and for all. But, Mr. Speaker, having been offered the opportunity, please permit me to take full responsibility. I would want to render an unqualified apology to all applicants to embassies across the world who feel so frustrated, who feel let down. We want them to know that we are still the very hospitable people we are. Ghanaians are celebrated globally for our quintessential warmth and welcoming attitude. A few bad nuts want to tarnish that image, but they will not be allowed to tarnish our golden image. But as minister, I take full responsibility, and we are working assiduously to make sure that these reports of bad treatment, lack of responsiveness, disrespect, and just outright disregard for the dignity of applicants, because people have many countries to go to. It should be an honor to us that they choose our country and that they want to visit us. The least we can do is to treat them with respect. So, Mr. Speaker, I take full responsibility, and we are putting in place the measures, very far-reaching measures, that will resolve these matters once and for all. I don't think that these are matters that we should be defensive or we should be partisan about. We should just be interested in the solutions. And let me also use this opportunity to commend Foreign Service officials who work hard. I recall that recently when I met the Ghanaian committee in Madrid, Spain, they very exceptionally highlighted the good services of our Foreign Service officials in Spain. They said Ambassador Apiasam and her team are doing so well. They are so responsive. They are so welcoming. They are so professional. And they wanted the minister to know about it. So it's not an all-out, if you like, bad conduct that is across the board. It's just a few people who really are not living up to the high standards of the Foreign Service of Ghana. But I know that with the efforts we are making, we shall weed out those bad nuts and resolve these matters once and for all. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, answers should be short. It's just a plea. Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I thank the Minister for the assurances he's given. Mr. Speaker, the second supplementary question. Mr. Speaker, I have in my hand a letter dated 26 May 2025 under the hand of Madame Divina A. Seneju, Miss, who is the Director of Administration at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Mr. Speaker, the letter sets out a wholesale transfer and movement of Foreign Service officials, beginning with Branch A officers to Branch B officers, all the way to Branch C officers. Mr. Speaker, and the indication that I've received is that this is quite unprecedented, and the manner or the extensiveness of this transfer is something which is never probably seen before in our fourth Republican dispensation. Mr. Speaker, the minister also in his statement, which is relied on, former cabinet minister, how this whole matter is being handled, and the references made to her seem to cast some unfair aspersions at her personal integrity. Mr. Speaker, at the combined effect of these two points, it's giving us a report. I stand to be corrected, but this is the report I have, that there is a breakdown of morale in the Foreign Service of our country. Mr. Speaker, I'm sure the minister himself will be very concerned about that if it was the case. And the question to position Ghana's Foreign Service as a non-partisan, above board Foreign Service as it is in many developed countries and as it should be. What measures is he putting in place to position Ghana's Foreign Service as a non-partisan service which will have officials who have high morale and who are prepared to sacrifice for our country, because these Foreign Service officials, Mr. Speaker, go through a whole lot. They travel across the world. They do a lot to serve our country. Will the minister tell the House what concrete measures he intends to put in place to boost morale in the Foreign Service of our country? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Again, Minister. Honorable member, the questions, let's try to be. Honorable member, will you allow me, please? Honorable members, please. So I'm pleading with you as well, those who are going to ask questions. Please, let's be straightforward with our questions. Because we have so many. If we are going to go the pace we are going,
Mr. Speaker,
then we may leave here around 10.
Mr. Speaker, I'm fully guided. But Mr. Speaker, my good friend Honorable Ablakwa, he was very comfortable. When he was here, Mr. Speaker, you can tell.
No. That's not the issue. That's not the issue. Yes, Honorable Minister.
Really prepared for me today. Well, Mr. Speaker, let me commend the ranking member for his industry. I'm glad that he has obtained the posting circular. It's not transfer, it's postings. And I instructed that the postings for 2025, this year's postings, should be done So this is how we started. We set up a committee chaired by the chief director. I was not involved. The director finance, director legal, director admin, and we had reps from the various. For those who don't understand the workings of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, every 4 years we post officers, foreign service officers, every 4 years typically, and there is a precedence list which is followed. The committee presented its report, and before the report was presented, they even allowed the foreign service staff to indicate if they were available to be posted or not. And they did a great job. They even considered humane circumstances, like some of our females who have just given birth, those who may have children who require special needs. They didn't want to post them to countries where they would not receive that kind of specialization for their children. So it was really humane, very, thoroughly done in a fair, objective manner. And I asked that the report should be circulated, placed on our platforms, put in the file, so that everybody will see what has happened. And that is why I'm sure that you were able to obtain a copy of the postings list. So far, it's been well received. There are a few petitions that have come, which is really, I would say, normal about these processes. And what I have done is that every petition received, I have invited them, listened to them, invited management to justify why they carried out what they did. And so far, all the petitioners have understood, the few petitioners have understood that this has been done objectively above board. There was no special interest. Nobody has been discriminated against. So it's been done. I took over the ministry. I came under pressure that a few days to election, there had been recruitment of about 100 people and that they should be fired and all of that. I said that no, I will review the process. When I reviewed the process, I noticed that they had financial clearance from the Minister for Finance at the time, the former minister, and that the processes had started before the elections. And I have kept everybody. Nobody has been dismissed. And I must be fair to the Honorable Minority Leader. He has at least the record of this House. I was aware when I received calls that for the first time the Minority Leader is praising me for being very fair-handed and very objective. So I want to assure you that morale at the foreign service of our country is at an all-time high. I can give you a tall list of other things I'm doing. I'm restoring the duty waiver on their vehicles so that when they are returning from postings, they can have their vehicles without paying duties on those vehicles.
Honorable
We are
Minister.
purchasing buses. I'm concluding. We are purchasing 6 buses. When I met the staff on the 10th of February, my first day in office, the staff told me about their difficulties and challenges with transportation. And I made sure that in the 2025 budget, we made an allocation for 6 buses, which we are procuring for our junior staff to be ferrying them. We are also making arrangements for their housing and all of that. So there's a lot we are doing to really take good care of our staff, those who ask for extension even whilst they are posting, medical support, funeral support for their spouses, loved ones. We are taking care of all of those needs. So I like to be an empathetic leader, a humane leader, and I can assure the ranking member that we will not do anything to lower the morale of our very dynamic and hardworking staff of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable, it's okay. Let me give the opportunity to somebody else.
3 questions. 3. I'm starting 3. Mr. Speaker, the final question. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for your indulgence. Mr. Speaker, but before I ask the final question, let Hansard capture my high commendation of the head before he came to office were not dismissed. Mr. Speaker, I hope his friend, the communication minister, will take some notes from him. And when he gets to cabinet, he should make a case to the president so that the chief of staff will draw the directive to dismiss Ghanaians across board. Well done, Minister. Mr. Speaker, the final question. Mr. Speaker, the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations, 1961, sets out copiously the steps which should be taken before a mission is closed down. Mr. Speaker, further, the United States State Department, Mr. Speaker, on 24th April 2025, issued a circular to all missions under the hand of the Secretary of State, where again, if you go to item 4, before a mission will be closed down. My question to the Minister, Mr. Speaker, what steps, as it relates to the Vienna Convention and to this circular, which I'm happy to share with the Minister, did the Minister take before closing down our mission in Washington? And is the closure related in any form or shape to the threat issued by the Trump administration to possibly ban Ghanaian citizens from traveling to the United States? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Minister.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I believe we are all conversant with the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations of 1961. And we need to do a distinction between leaving a country permanently, where the accreditation that you have been given, you no longer have use of it. So you are withdrawing permanently from the country. And then temporal closures, which is not a permanent withdrawal where your accreditation is still valid. What we did, there's a clear distinction. It was just a temporal closure of our Washington mission, which we have discussed earlier. We all are not proud of what was happening at the Washington mission. So in that case, it's just similar to very akin to what happened during COVID, where embassies temporarily shut down, they were working from home, only skeletal staff. Even as we speak, we've had to close our mission in Tehran because of what is happening between Israel and Iran. In Israel as well, the Israeli foreign minister has urged governments to ask their staff, the foreign mission staff, to stay at home. So if you go to Tel Aviv today, our embassy is not open, but it doesn't mean we have withdrawn from the country. So there's a distinction, and I just want to clarify that. Let me also say that this action was just primarily and solely, fundamentally, because of the rot which we have uncovered. It had nothing to do with the so-called, and I have to really assure the nation, a lot of reports about some looming ban on Ghanaians, that we will not be able to travel to the States, we are going to be banned and all of that. Let me state this is a house of record, that Ghana has not been officially notified that we are going to be placed on any prohibition list or on any ban where our citizens cannot travel to the United States. At this point, all of that is speculation. But as a proactive minister, I can assure honorable members that we are having high-level engagements. I have asked that we want to be assured that those leaks, because according to the US media, those were leaks that they intercepted, internal memos. We want to be assured that there's really no merit. And so far, I can tell the people of Ghana that there is no cause for alarm. That is what we are receiving from our partners in Washington. So I think that we will be fine, and we will continue to have very great and cordial relations with the United States of America. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable members, we turn to question B. No. Leader the opportunity. I'm not giving. Leader, I have so many questions to deal with today. So,
maybe if you can give me just one supplementary.
Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I have seen the minister's answer as contained in his statement. I am concerned about the foreign service staff. As we all know, when they move out on a mission, they move with their family, spouse, children who are in school. Reading in this whole matter has been specifically mentioned that certain other foreign service staff were directly involved. Of course, Mr. Speaker, I won't take away from him his administrative supervisory mandate that if something is wrong, he wants to take certain decisions. Those ones, they come as a matter of course that you want to take a certain action. I'm not going into that path. I am saying that having taken that decision, which affects individuals who knew that, well, they were on a mission, they are left with 3 years, 2 years, 4 years, and their kids are in school. What mitigating measures are in place to address some of the very expected concerns? Because if a child is in school and you are, by this order, pack and go back to Ghana, I know in this house, across the aisle, family members who are affected by this, not, I've been talking to colleagues who are even on your own side, who may not have had the opportunity to come to you, but whose siblings, whose cousins, whose relations are worried because children are now stuck. They don't know what they're doing. At the risk of saying that the measures taken were rather too harsh, would you share with us how you are mitigating this?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The minority leader has asked a very important question. And let me state ab initio that all of us in the Foreign Service, we know that our circumstances can change at any time. Indeed, if you look at the posting letters that the Foreign Service officials receive, they are told in very clear language that they can be recalled or they can be cross-posted at any point in time. So there is a certain psychological preparedness that these things can happen. Having said that, I am not one to carry out these measures without was issued, who had been involved in a fire accident, had gone to buy fuel from a oil station some years back. And it's a miracle she survived. So she's receiving care in the United States, has gone through 13 surgeries. I'm sure that the Honorable Deputy Minister, Honorable Aprechi, knows her very well. When her petition came to my attention, immediately I said she should be, on humanitarian grounds, she should stay, because she even has outstanding surgeries, 8 more surgeries. I mean, I would not want, because of the action of somebody. And it was clear to me that she was not anywhere close to what Kwarteng and his collaborators were doing. Then there is also another confidential secretary who petitioned. She is almost 9 months pregnant, and you don't want a pregnant lady, about 13 hours. So again, the internal committee we set up, finding out that she was not close, we have exempted her. So she explaining that we are implementing this with a human face, so that the foreign service officials don't think that, we are just out to get them, or we want to, if you like, be draconian. That is not what is at play. In the case of children, spouses, and all of that, we are looking at these matters on a case-by-case basis. But as I pointed out earlier, the evidence is overwhelming. The management team that carried out this this investigation, has concluded that there is no way Fred Kwarteng could have done what he did all these years alone, as a lone wolf. There's absolutely no way. There's evidence. They talk about the welfare fund, which they made Fred Kwarteng to be transferring money. And it's all in the report. We'll make the report available, the welfare fund that they were benefiting from, and those who allowed him to be carrying passports out and all of that. So, I mean, if we delve into, I've been quite measured not to mention names and people's complicity and all of that. But I'm sure that when you read the IOCO report, there's an internal report, but we've also invited IOCO. We've invited IOCO to carry out more forensic investigations. So let me just assure you, leader, that we are balancing between the need to be ruthless in fighting corruption, conflict of interest, naked abuse of office, and also doing it with a human face, so that vulnerable people are not disadvantaged. So it's a delicate balance which we are conscious of.
Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Foreign Minister is statement which he requested same to be adopted as his answer to question 6A makes reference, in fact, it says the report he commissioned is attached. Since this is a house of records, he indicated that it's attached. In his response, he said he will bring it. I just want to, in your statement, what was distributed to us does not have the report. So may we have a copy table? Yes. Pardon? Yes, what I'm saying, he said he would attach, but he didn't table it. So I want him, yes, but what I'm saying is that this is very important. So if he can table it now, because it's something that he referred to in his statement, that the report is hereby attached, records of the House, then we can rely on to do further. Yes, I needed this. You have it there? Okay. Mr. Speaker, may he do the formal tabling, then I take
a copy. I want to make reference to something in it. So if you can table it formally, then the translators can make it available.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Minority Leader is the Honorable Minority Leader. Yeah, that's what I said. The Honorable Minority Leader. The Honorable Minority Leader is clearly misconstruing paragraph 7. If you pay attention to paragraph 7, I speak of the query, the 2019 query. So paragraph 7, I was referring to the query. I say I have here a copy of the 2019 query, which I'm able to present to this House. And I have a copy. I did even read the query. So I am happy to lay it. So it's the query I was referring to. But paragraph 7 was about the query.
I'm quite curious in the sense that the mainstay of the action was founded on the outcome of the audit. I would have thought that the minister would have fortified himself without a demand from this House. But, Mr. Speaker, he's a man who is representing us in that space and would respect his promise to make that report available to us. So I will not belabor. Now, Honorable Minister, you have used that principle of collective liability to take a decision that innocent people are also being affected. And you refer to this general clause we find in contracts, that termination clauses, but the tests, there is always a test to the triggering of these clauses. I agree with you that, yes, when you are posted, there is a provision that you can be recalled, reposted, and all. But there is a test to it. It must be within reasonable contemplation, not on matters suddenly arising. You know, you talked about human face to solving the problem. Really an overwhelming outcry, lamentation that, you know, has come to my attention. And I would want you to continue to pursue, to see how you can solve that problem for our compatriots who are there. That said, may you tell us, in the report you received, was there any aspect that specifically, without any equivocation, without ambiguity, point to the fact that the embassy officials, as well as the head of the mission, became aware that the company that was contracted belonged to the gentleman you referred to in your report? Was there any such specific evidence to that effect?
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Simple answer is yes. The committee discovered that there were some officials at the embassy who knew that GTC belonged to Mr. Fred Kwarteng.
Mr. Speaker, I say that for us in the political space, the only the only asset we have is our reputation. I'm happy that, but were they at a level of decision making, or
they were staff at the embassy who were not part of the decision-making process of awarding the contract. Because, like the Honorable Jinapo said, the respected ambassador who has ended a service to the nation far away in America, served as a member of parliament, a respected lawyer, a government minister, who ended her career as a political diplomat.